said you need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions.
And a good Friday morning to everybody. It's time now for Home Repairs and Solutions with Mark and Mary, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, Heating and Air Conditioner, your local Amana dealer. And your host this morning is Mary Pearson, because Mark is not here with us this morning.
No, he's not. Mark is at Starvey Creek. This is his Starvey Creek weekend.
And he's a musician, and he is,
and they're doing bluegrass down there.
Bluegrass guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is one of his big events every year, and they have lots of campers. People bring their campers down and hang out and listen to bluegrass all weekend. So
I don't know if everyone knows this or not, but the theme, Home Repairs and Solutions, that is done by Mark Withers.
That's right. He wrote the song, and he's singing it, and does a great job for us.
He does.
So I hope they're having a nice weekend. I don't know. It's kind of chilly and rainy up here.
A little rain won't hurt anything.
No, that's sure. That's for sure. They can still play their music and tap their feet and have a good time. So anyway, we'll miss him today, but we hope he's having a great weekend nonetheless. It's great to have you back today, Dan.
Thank you, Mary. It's good to be here.
Yes, we miss you when you're not here. Rob does a great job, but
he does. Yeah, you bet.
But I'm glad you're
always
I'm glad
enjoy
you're back.
being on your show.
Well, thanks. Well, I'm glad you're back today, and I'm sure Mark's gonna miss you because you won't be here next week, will you?
I'm not sure yet.
Not sure. Okay. Well, we'll find out next week if Dan will be here or not. But I'll be here next week, and Mark will be. But today, we have brought back some guests we've had on the show before. We have Matt Helms and Paul McAdoo with us from M&H Electrical. So they're going to give us some great information today about all kinds of electrical things and maybe what we need to do. As you can tell by today, the weather is starting to cool down a little bit, and there might be some things you might need to do to kind of prepare for that. And if you have a question or a comment for us on the show here today, our number here is 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. You can give us a call anytime during the show, and we'll get to you and answer your questions for you. So I want to start out by saying welcome, guys. Thanks for being with us on the show today.
Thanks for having us back on.
You betcha. One of the reasons I wanted to have you guys back on is we're together. We're in a networking group together, and a couple weeks ago, Paul gave us a demonstration to our group about the different light bulbs that are available on the market today. And I thought I learned a lot from that. It was interesting to me because light bulbs can be a little bit overwhelming. You go and there's just walls of light bulbs, and it's like, good grief. And they range in all kinds of prices and all kinds of things. So I asked him if he'd come back on the show and talk a little bit about all the different light bulbs, the difference in them, what the price difference is, and good ones, bad ones, indifferent, what they can do for you. So if you want to start out that way, you can kind of, We'll start with the light bulbs here.
All right. I gave a presentation just comparing the 60-watt incandescent bulb to the equivalent of the 60-watt incandescent with the compact fluorescents, or the CFL bulbs, and the LED. The compact fluorescent, the equivalent to a 60-watt light bulb is the 14-watt. It's going to be 13, 14-watt, depending on the manufacturer. And then on the LEDs, the equivalent to the 60-watt is what they call a 12 or a 13-watt LED. The lighting, as far as that amount of light they put out, they've pretty much got it now to where the amount of light that comes from the LEDs and the CFLs and the incandescents are within a margin of error of, little or nothing. Like the LED, you'll have 805 lumens, and the 60-watt incandescent is 830 lumens. So it's a little lighter on the amount of light that you get, but not enough that you can really tell with the human eye. And they've been working on the color correcting too. A lot of people don't like the color that comes from the LEDs or the CFLs, but they've pretty much got the colors to where they match. For instance, when I did the presentation at the meeting, I had all three lights right next to each other, and you really couldn't tell.
No, you couldn't. I was surprised,
yeah.
Especially with the LED. I was surprised because when they first came out with those, I hated that. It was kind of a real intense blue or something, and I just did not like the way that came across.
Yeah, they've pretty well got the color corrected on all of them now, to where the main thing now, since they've got the color corrected, is the energy savings and the life of the bulb, that goes along with the compact fluorescents and the LEDs.
And the incandescents that we have now, that we've had for so many years, they have the shortest lifespan. Is that correct?
Yeah, that in the tests that they use, the standardized test for lighting industry on the incandescent and the compact fluorescent LED it's a life based on 8 hours a day, 24/7. For every day, every year, and they've got it now. The compact fluorescents are rated at around 7 years. The LEDs, they're rating them somewhere in the area of 20, 22 years. Of course, your incandescents, you can figure about a year's lifespan on those.
Well, the incandescents, of course, are the cheapest still on the market, but they're going to discontinue those. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, eventually they are going to go the way of the dinosaur. They'll be gone. Yeah, there's not been an exact formal date set. There's still some discussion going on about when the incandescent is going to be phased out, or if it's going to be phased out completely. That's something that they're still trying to hash out in government.
Now, on the compact fluorescents that you're talking about, I do not like those. I have a couple of those. I just hate them things. When I turn the light on, I want the light on.
Yeah.
I don't want it to stand there in the dark and wait for it to kind of warm up and eventually come on. Have they improved those at all, or are they going to, or what's the deal with that?
They've got what they call instant start CFLs, but I still hear the same complaint when we put them in. They're not really instant. They're quicker than they used to be, but they're not really instant still. They are working on it, but it's just the mechanics of that light bulb. It's something that they're having difficulty with. I don't know that we'll ever have the compact fluorescent that just kicks on as soon as the switch is thrown. They think they will, but we haven't really seen it. You might get lucky and have a few that start. If you relamped your whole house, you'll have some that'll start instantly. And then you got others that you'll still have to walk into the room a couple steps before they kick on all the way. The LEDs are an instant-on type bulb, and the incandescents are. The other nice thing about the LEDs is they are dimmer compatible. You don't have to buy a special bulb or a special dimmer for your LEDs. They are compatible with most of the dimmers that you have in your house now.
And are the compact incandescents, are they not?
Are the compact fluorescents?
Compact fluorescents.
You can buy a compact fluorescent that is dimmer compatible, and sometimes you have to buy a special dimmer for the compact fluorescent. It depends on the bulb and the manufacturer. You can buy them that you can use a dimmer on.
Okay.
We still hear a little bit of complaint about that. Sometimes the compact fluorescents with certain dimmers and with electronic timers, you wind up with kind of a flicker to the bulb. Notice it more with the electronic timers than we do with the dimmers, though.
Now, on those compact fluorescents, over time, do they kind of start losing their light? I mean, they seem like they get dim or something with time. They don't seem to keep the brightness through the life of the bulb.
Yeah, the compact fluorescent, all fluorescents actually do this. They have a certain amount of burn-in time to reach their peak light intensity, and then they do start trailing off as you use them. It depends on the hours that they burn a day and everything else as far as how the life is on those bulbs. That's it. It's just kind of hard to say. There's not a set timetable that they're going to dim, but they do start degrading. Yeah.
And isn't there a little bit of a disposal issue with those as well?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not supposed to just unscrew those out of your light fixture and throw them in the trash, correct?
Yeah, the fluorescents with the government, along with the government mandate to do away with the incandescents, there is a disposal issue that will become prevalent with the compact fluorescents because, they're not supposed to be just thrown in the regular trash. They will have to be recycled. Essentially, is what that amounts to.
Because do they have mercury in them? Is that is that the issue with those?
Yes, there is mercury in the fluorescent tubes themselves. So that's where the disposal issue comes in. They'll have to be recycled. There are some places that are starting to put recycle bins. I think I'm wanting to say I think Lowe's has a recycle bin up front now for their compact fluorescents.
Okay.
So there's very few places around though that actually have the recycle containers for them.
So, but is there the same issue with the LEDs?
The LEDs, no. The LED it's a light emitting diode. There's no mercury contaminants in there, so no, the LED bulbs can be disposed of as normal.
So, kind of, if someone's trying to decide, okay, am I going to buy this cheap light bulb or am I going to buy this LED? Because there's quite a cost difference. What is the utility savings between those three bulbs? Is the energy savings for an LED that significant that it's worth the extra cost?
Yeah, it's a pretty significant savings, really. Based on just a single 60-watt bulb burning 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, an LED is going to use $1.48,
Okay.
essentially, in its lifespan. And an incandescent bulb, you're going to spend, or not in its lifespan, I'm sorry, in a year's time, the incandescent bulb is going to run you about $7.50, somewhere in that area. Compact fluorescents will save you a little bit. They get you down to about $1.50.
Okay.
Per year.
So that is a pretty substantial savings over an incandescent then.
Oh, quite a bit. Yeah, you're looking at almost 5 times.
And so if you figure the savings of the utility usage or the energy usage, plus the fact that you aren't going to have to buy that bulb every year or every 9 months or however it is, that the others burn out, then I would say that's very significant.
Oh, yeah, if you think about it, if you're spending $7.50 on one incandescent, if you just have 10 of them in your house that burns, for 8 hours a day, I know most people don't have a light that's on 8 hours a day, but if you figure it through the year at 8 hours a day, you're looking at, $75 a year. And then if you did an LED or a compact fluorescent, you're down to around $1.50, so you got $15 a year if you had 10 bulbs burning for 8 hours a day.
Right.
So yeah, your savings is going to be pretty good. And if the LEDs, they're saying 20 years, if you buy one bulb and it lasts you 20 years, you've paid, an LED runs somewhere $30 to $40. And there's some variance where you get them, but you buy that bulb at $30 to $40 and it lasts you 20 years, and you buy an incandescent bulb at $1 or $1.50 and they last 6 months to a year, and over 20-year period of time, you're going to spend a lot of money. So you're going to have your electrical savings, and then plus the cost of the bulbs, buying them over and over again.
Another thing that's variance in these bulbs that I've noticed is the fluorescent burn much cooler. For instance, like in our bathroom off our bedroom there, we have all incandescents in there. And if you have those, the lights over the sink or the vanity, and then you have the light over, just in the middle of the room, if I have both of those on in the morning, it gets hot in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it really heats up that room.
Yeah, a 60-watt incandescent bulb, right on the skin of the bulb, you're getting temperatures up close to 200 degrees. So
that's pretty hot.
And on a compact fluorescent, you drop that temperature down to just above ambient temperature in the room. You're getting into the about 90-degree range, 90 to 100-degree range, and then the LEDs are even cooler. So, yeah, it will contribute to a heat increase in your home, too, if you're burning incandescent bulbs. If you have table lamps, because heat naturally rises off of a bulb. So if you have table lamps or anything like that sitting around that you burn on a regular basis, the heat off of those is going to actually circulate into the home. And
so,
that kind of gets into your field of expertise.
Yes, it does. That kind of gets into the heating and air conditioning aspect of trying to keep your home cool and comfortable in the summertime. But I thought that was real interesting. When you gave that presentation, I did not realize there was that drastic of a difference. Now, on the LEDs, when they first came out, they weren't compatible with every fixture in your home that I can, if I remember that correctly. So do they have them now to where, you can get one that will fit into a lamp, or do they have LED bulbs down just about any type of bulb you would need?
Yeah, they've got the configurations down now to where they pretty much follow the same shape of the incandescent bulbs as far as the larger R40 floods, the R30 floods, the standard incandescent, and the candelabra. they've got the size down on them now to where they're pretty much comparable with any fixture that you've got in your home.
So what might kind of be a good idea is most people probably aren't going to go out and replace all the light bulbs at one time in their home. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. But if you have whenever you have one of these burnout, if you're using incandescent, you might want to look at maybe replacing it with an LED.
Yeah.
You're going to use less energy. It's going to be cooler. And a lot of times those bulbs burn out, and I've done this several times because it takes a lot for me to learn, I guess. But I'll reach up there to undo that thing, and that thing is hot.
Yeah, they stay hot for a little while.
And so then, if you can't always change them out, like if it's in the evening or something, and you're wanting to use that light, and it burns out, then you have to wait a little bit to get that bulb out of there, or you have to find a glove or something so you don't burn your hand. Mm-hmm. Where with an LED, it's going to be a lot cooler to the touch, and you're not going to have that issue of getting burnt if you touch one.
Yeah, and the LED bulbs, you can they've got them now to where they are rated for outside use and outside fixtures.
Uh-huh.
I know a lot of the compact fluorescents. On the small print on the boxes, they would tell you not for use in damp locations, and we wind up with a lot of problems, even around sinks, where if you're washing dishes, you got hot water, you get steam off there. They just weren't rated for the damp locations at all, and you couldn't do compact fluorescent in, say, a shower can or a bath fan.
Oh, okay.
Due to the humidity
the moisture.
in there,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The bulbs and the actual ballast weren't sealed to keep them out from moisture. But the LEDs, they do offer those that are rated for damp locations.
Now, you said that they have those for outside use as well now, that some of the LEDs. Do they have them, like we have several lights outside around our home, for out in the evening or something, or on the deck. Do they have them, because we always try to get the bug lights to keep all the bugs away from us, and of course, they
Mm-hmm.
collect around your lighting fixtures when you do that. But I didn't know if they have LED bug lights yet, or if that's still something that's maybe they're working on.
I haven't checked. I don't know if they've got the yellow LED bug lights yet. I do know that they have them in the compact fluorescent though.
Because we like those. First of all, it's a softer light in the evening. You don't have such a bright light.
Yeah.
And so we do use those, outside.
Yeah.
Mostly just for that reason alone. But I didn't know. Because I know the LEDs have come a long way. Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't know about the LEDs. I should have checked on that, but I do know that they do have the compact fluorescents, and the ones that they have that are in the yellow light, they are for use in the A19, which is the standard 60-watt light bulb configuration. They're for use in enclosed fixtures, and then they do have the compact fluorescent in the flood configuration for use in the double head Stever lights, that type.
That's lots of information about light bulbs. I would say until you gave that presentation, I just really wasn't aware of the differences and all the options and why you would choose one over the other. So that really taught me a lot when you gave that presentation to our group. And so hopefully some of our listeners out there have got some great information off of this. And next time they think about purchasing a light bulb, they might think about the energy uses versus have to replace them all the time. And like I have a closet that's just full of light bulbs right now because I've got all these different sizes, and I don't want to have to. I want to have one there in case one burns out, which they do frequently if they're incandescent. So that's another thing. It'd free up some storage space. You don't have to store all these light bulbs.
Yeah, and if they actually get it to where we get 22 years out of a light bulb, you won't have to even hardly stock up on them.
That's true. You might sell your house 2 or 3 times and never have to put a light bulb in there. You just never know.
It's a possibility. And the amount of information that there is on these newer light bulbs is just unbelievable. If you get on the internet, Matt was looking some stuff up, and
I've got about 50 pages of information off the internet for each type of bulb.
Really?
Yeah, it's just phenomenal what they're doing with the bulbs right now.
So there's lots of information out there. You could do some research, like these gentlemen have said. You can research it on the internet, find lots of good information on light bulbs and that type of thing. You are listening to Home Repairs and Solutions, and if you would like to give us a call, we'd love to hear from you. Our number, once again, is 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. And I think right now, unless you have some additional information that we need to bring about on these light bulbs, I was going to kind of switch gears a little bit. And, the weather has cooled down. It's cooler today than I thought it would be, so I'm not sure that I got dressed appropriately because I didn't expect it to be this cool. But some things that people might be thinking about right now, or maybe they should be thinking about, is if you have a generator or if you want a generator in case you lose power or something this winter, that is something that you guys also can help folks out with.
Yeah, we can do a generator installation for whole house or just a roll around just a roll around generator for temporary use. The whole house generators, we usually install the Generac brand Guardian series whole house generators. They run from I think it's 12 kW up to a 20 kW generator. 20 kWs will run pretty much everything in your standard size 3-bedroom home, as long as it doesn't have electric heat. If you wind up if you have electric heat, then it's pushing the generator, and there's some ways around it. We can put a device in that actually staggers the electric loads in the house so that you could utilize the electric heat and back and forth. But yeah, we do installs on those. The only thing with the generators that we don't take care of would be the gas supplies, whether it be propane or
Sure.
whether natural gas on that. But we can generally get generator within just a couple weeks to have set at the house, or if you're going with the portable type generator on wheels, we usually do a mechanical interlock in the panel and a receptacle on the outside of the house that the generator would actually backfeed into the panel through.
Well, I know that we've already had a couple of our clients talk to us about getting their generators hooked up, or they've bought some and need them installed. And so if you call Spring Mountain Air about a generator, we're going to refer you to M&H Electrical, because that's their expertise is the electrical part of that. And so I know just recently we've referred some of our clients to you guys
Yes.
for that reason.
Yeah.
So there are some people out there that are kind of starting to think about it. They're getting, want to be proactive,
Yeah,
which
it's
is always
be
good.
that time of year.
You want to be proactive. It's you don't want one of those emergency situations where the power goes out and your generator's sitting there and you're trying to find someone to hook it up for you so you're ready to go. And so hopefully that's something else that maybe some folks out there with generators who need some assistance in getting those hooked up can give you guys a call, and you can help them out with that.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of giving you guys a call, what is your phone number?
We have two numbers. First number is to contact me directly. It's 693-2044. And then
To contact me directly, it's 597-6608.
There you go. We'll give those numbers out again at the second half of the show in case you missed those. I try to get those out a couple times during the show. Sometimes I kind of forget, so you might want to remind me if I don't think about that again. But there are lots of things to do with electrical. These guys do lots more than just generators and light bulbs. So we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the second half of the show. Please come back and join us.
This is the Wall Street Journal Report. I'm Joan Jones. Consumer confidence rose unexpectedly this month, up a full 5 points. That report, though, has some analysts scratching their heads.
Apparently, it reflected some improvement looking at the employment picture. So there's a disconnect looking at the consumer confidence figure and certainly the disappointing jobs report we got a week ago today.
Experts say the improved optimism is likely a temporary bounce after the recent presidential conventions. Reaction to the Fed's announced stimulus continues to push the markets higher. The Dow Industrial is gaining 67. NASDAQ Composite is up 30. S&P ahead 9 points. NYSE Euronext has agreed to pay a $5 million penalty to settle SEC charges that it gave some New York Stock Exchange customers an improper head start on trading information. It's clear there's still demand for Apple's products. Just an hour after opening its online store to pre-orders for the iPhone 5, Apple pushed the shipping date back by 1 week, suggesting it had sold out. This is the Wall Street Journal Report.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Ryan, technician with Safelite Auto Glass.
So you think all auto glass companies are the same? Well, they're not. With Safelite, you get more. Every windshield we replace is backed by a national lifetime guarantee, keeping you covered wherever you are. Plus, Safelite has more glass in stock than anyone, so we can get to you faster.
Just tell your insurance company you want Safelite, or call 1-800-800-2727, or go to safelite.com.
Stay tuned for a 1 million bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping.
Do you have troubled skin, acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive, your acne can heal, and you can prevent new breakouts from happening. We're going to let 1 million people try Proactive risk-free, get 2 free gifts, and free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. Visit getproactive.com or call 1-800-614-4102. That's 1-800-614-4102.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. A man has been arrested at the scene of a suspected burglary east of Springfield. A deputy answering a call from a resident in the 5500 block of East Division saw the suspect walking nearby. When he saw the deputy, the man took off on foot. He was arrested following a short chase. He's wanted on several outstanding warrants. A man considered a prime suspect in the killing of a couple from Willard has entered a guilty plea to charges of unlawful transportation of firearms. Tony Friend is suspected in the death of Russell and Becky Porter in April of 2011. He has not been charged with the murder. And a food pantry that's been in operation in Springfield since 1983 will close at the end of the year. The kitchen at the Missouri Hotel has handed out some 60,000 pounds of food each month. Officials say they'll refocus their efforts on providing shelter for the homeless. Other food pantries are expected to take up the slack. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
Woody P. Snow.
The switch is on to a home-owned and operated radio station.
Just act normal. I'd ask you to do the same, but I'm afraid that ship has sailed.
Playing the greatest hits of all time.
The Giant.
1013.
What is this crazy rock and roll music anyway?
KTXR. The greatest hits of all time.
Let the dancing begin.
The Giant.
1013.
Let's go!
Casey's presents Famous People on Famous Pizza.
My name is Adam Haney, and I own the largest bottle cap collection in Davis County. I have over 160,000 bottle caps. I enjoyed a lot of these sodas with made-to-order Casey's pizza with fresh ingredients, real mozzarella, and never frozen crust. I'll tip a cap to that.
Casey's, famous for pizza. Order one today and see what everybody's talking about. Right now, get a large taco pizza for just $13.99. Not valid with any other offer.
Do you believe it is possible to build an account with God? The Bible actually says that it is. This is Benjamin Davis, Senior Pastor of Abundant Life Covenant Church in downtown Springfield. Join me this Monday at 10 a.m. for my radio program called Biblical Economics, and we'll talk about what the Bible has to say. An ounce of wisdom is worth a pound of gold, so I'm excited to explore God's Word for practical solutions to today's problems.
In 1998, Roundup Ready corn was just being introduced. The postage stamp was 32 cents, and Ozarks Farm and Neighbor and Google were both founded. Then Ozarks Farm and Neighbor newspaper reached 9 counties. Today, on our 15th birthday, Ozarks Farm and Neighbor reaches 60 counties and an estimated 58,000 readers in Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Wonder why we're still the fastest growing farm paper around? You can find out. Subscribe today. Call 1-866-532-1960 or go to our website at ozarksfn.com. Then come out to the Ozark Fall Farm Fest and help us celebrate. We got a bushel of prizes and gifts from great advertisers like S&H Farm Supply, Race Brothers Farm and Home Supply, Noble Hudson & Sons Feed, Honda of the Ozarks, and lots more. After all, it is our birthday and we're 105. Well, that's dog years, but you know.
A few showers, otherwise it will be cloudy and cooler for today, the high near 70. Cloudy for tonight, we will see a passing shower, low 57. A shower or thunderstorm in spots by the afternoon. Otherwise, it will be sunny and warmer to start the weekend tomorrow, high of 76. Times of clouds and sun, we will see more showers or thunderstorms in spots on Sunday, the high of 78. Then it will be sunny as you head back to work on Monday, the high approaching 80. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
We have 57 degrees in Springfield.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions.
They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house. They'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home Repairs and Solutions.
You're listening to Home Repairs and Solutions, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Amana dealer. And once again, here is Mary Pearson and the second half of the show with her guests for today.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
And welcome back, everyone. We are talking to Paul and Matt today with M&H Electrical, and they can answer all of your electrical questions or whatever you want to talk about today. And speaking of talking about that, we do have a caller on the line. We have Mark from Springfield. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
Doing just fine. How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I got a question on my air conditioner.
Okay.
The other night, it quit working, and I went outside and looked at it, and it was all froze up outside.
Uh-huh.
And then I went inside and looked at them there A-coils.
Yes.
And they was just a big old block of ice in there, so I shut her down for the day, and it all thawed out. And then the next night, I turned it back on. It worked okay. Then the next morning, she froze up again.
That, yes, that can happen. And have you changed your filter lately, Mark? Do you have a clean filter?
Yeah, I changed it.
Okay.
It didn't make no difference.
Well, a lot of times a dirty filter will cause that to happen. Or the other issue you might have is you might be low on refrigerant. If your coil is leaking or something, it will cause it to freeze up like that as well. And then when you thaw it out and start it back up, it'll run for a little bit, but it will freeze back up. So you're probably going to have to call someone to come out and find out exactly what's going on with it so that they can get it fixed for you.
Well, you got anybody you could recommend?
I think I do, Mark. If you wanted to call Spring Mountain Air, our number is 831-4036. Angel's at the office today. She can answer your call and set up a time to get someone out there and we'll take a look at that for you.
Well, I don't know how far y'all travel.
Well, where are you?
I'm in Bates City.
This is my brother. You are a stinker. What? Are you my brother, Mark?
Well, I think so.
I think you are.
But I still need somebody to come up here and fix my air conditioner.
Okay. Well, are you going to feed me dinner if I come up there?
Bates City Barbecue.
Okay, I'm there, buddy. How you been? I didn't even know you listened to my show.
Well, my wife is listening to it on the internet.
There you go. Yes, you can listen to us on the computer. We are streamed on the internet as well if you can't get us on the radio. So.
And I'm working really hard today, and she said, you better call down there and talk to your sister right now. And I said, well, I need to talk to her anyway because my air conditioner don't work.
I'm not sure you need it today. What's the temperature up there?
Oh, I don't know. It's 51 this morning.
Well, it's about 50-some here, so you know what? Just turn your air conditioner off. You don't need it anyway.
Nah. I'll be calling you next spring, probably.
Well, call me next spring. We'll come up and take care of it for you.
Well, I'll do it.
Okay.
Send my nephew up here.
I can do that. Yeah, you want him to fix it. You don't want me working on it. That's for sure.
Well, come see us.
Okay, well, tell Vivian the kids we said hey, and we'll do that. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
All right. Bye, Mark.
So you didn't recognize his voice at first?
I didn't. Well, it said Springfield, so I thought it was someone from Springfield.
Well, I thought he was from Springfield, but where is Bates City?
Bates City's up by Kansas City.
Okay.
It's a little suburb of Kansas City up there.
Okay.
So, well, that was I wasn't expecting that. Okay, you never know what's going to happen on live radio. That's for sure. But yeah, that's my little brother. I'm the oldest, and I have a little sister that lives here in Springfield, and I had no idea he even listened to me on the radio, so that's pretty neat.
Kind of caught you off guard.
You never know who's listening. This morning, I said something about San Francisco. Some guy named David called me from San Francisco.
Now, we don't service San Francisco. I'm sorry.
No, but this
trip charge would be in.
I have been to San Francisco. It's a great, fun city to vacation in, but I'm not going to do a service call there. I'm not sure these guys would either, but I don't know.
We will for the right price.
For the right price. Okay. Well, you notice he said for me to send his nephew up there to fix his air conditioner, so he knows who can fix it, not me. So we can do that. Okay. Well, that kind of got me off kilter there a little bit. Back to talking about some of these. What were we talking about the first half? Generators. See, he got me all flustered. Talking about these generators. Now, most of the time when you install a generator for someone or hook it in, these generators are meant to work outside the home, correct?
Yeah, the whole house generators, well, and for that matter, the portable generators as well. Yeah, they will sit outside the home. You don't ever want,
You don't want to put them in the garage and shut the garage door?
No, you don't even want to put them in the garage and leave the garage door cracked a little bit.
We usually don't even want you putting them by the garage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know that some people sometimes do that, and I know that that's not a good idea. And is that because of the fumes that comes off of the generator?
Yeah.
They're toxic, I'm guessing?
Absolutely. It's because of the exhaust off the motor.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want you don't want to take a chance on that being able to get in the house. Most doors and stuff are gasketed for exterior doors, but who knows how good they're sealing or when the last time that they did seal. So, yeah, they would be mounted outside, as close to the service equipment as we can get it. The Guardian unit that we install, it comes with a pre-made whip of 3/4 inch flexible cable, and that we can get it within 30 feet of the service with that unit as a package. So anywhere from your electric meter 30 feet on the outside of the house, generally we can install it with just the package unit that they provide, that Generac provides.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like it up on the front of the house. If your meter's on the front of the house, they'd prefer to have it on, around back or on the side. So that's just for aesthetics, just keep it out of the way. And then sometimes it's for the gas supply. Got to try to keep it as simple as we can for the propane or the natural gas to be hooked up to.
Now, when you put one of those in, like for instance, we have one that we can use that's just temporary. We don't have a whole house generator. And ours, you have to, I think Paul has to pull start it or something. I'm not sure. But these whole house generators, you can actually turn those on with a switch, kind of like turn on a light. Is that correct? You don't have to go out and actually pull them like
no,
a lawnmower
nothing
or
like
something?
that. As a matter of fact, most of the time we install one that has an automatic start. When the power fails after so many seconds, then the generator actually starts by itself. It has a battery and a battery charger as part of the unit. And once it senses power failure, the generator goes ahead and kicks on after so many seconds, and then it will run until power comes on and stays on. The power will have to come on. It'll have to sense power for, I think it is 3 minutes or something like that. And then the generator will go into a cool down mode. It'll run for a little while and transfer power directly back to the utility power. So yeah, the whole home units, it's very little maintenance. You just have to check the battery, make sure that the battery is maintaining charge. And some of these new Generac models, they've got a touchpad out underneath the lid of the generator. You open up the lid just like you would on your car, and the motor sits right there. There's a touchpad, and you can run through a maintenance diagnostic right there.
Wow.
So they'll exercise themselves once a week. You set a time a day, and they'll run for about 15 minutes to half hour, depending on how long you want them to run.
And what's the point of that?
The main point of that is to keep the oil transferred around inside the motor, and to make sure that everything is working properly with the unit. When it does that exercise once a week, you can plan to go out there, every once in a while and look at the maintenance log on that keypad, and it'll tell you, if what the output of the voltage, make sure that the actual generator itself is working properly, and it'll tell you if there's any problems with the gas motor.
That's pretty neat to make them that simple, so that you know that's, like you said, it's very easy maintenance that way, and it's something that you don't have to spend a lot of time or energy trying to keep up with it, on a regular basis. So
they've got it now to where since it exercises itself automatically, you don't even have to be home when it exercises. It just kicks on and runs. Now it doesn't transfer power from the house. It just actually kicks on and runs, and just does a diagnostic, just a self check of itself while it's doing that. And then basically it gets down to the same maintenance you'd have on a car. You check to make sure your battery's charged, and you check to make sure that the oil level is good in there.
So do you have to change the oil in them like you do a car? You change the oil occasionally?
From time to time. It's based more on the hours rather than mileage, of course.
Sure.
So it's just, and there's an hour meter on the generator. And after so many hours, then you change the oil in the filter just like you would a lawnmower or a car.
Okay. Well, I certainly hope that we don't have the type of winter where anyone needs one of those. But
me both.
But if you do, it's always good to be proactive. We talk about that a lot on this show. It's less expensive to be proactive, and then I'm thinking that maybe some of my neighbors down there, I hope they have one because then I'll just go to their house if the power goes out. But we all get along real good, so that's okay. I'll bring them a pot of soup or something, and we'll be good to go.
There you go.
But we are talking with Paul and Matt here today with M&H Electrical. And why don't you give out your contact information again, guys, so they can get a hold of you?
Okay, to contact Paul directly, it's 417-693-2044.
And to contact Matt, it's 417-597-6608.
Now, there's lots of other things you guys can do for your customers, and I know I wanted to focus on these two items today mostly because we're kind of in the season for that and the generators and that type of thing. But you can do just about any type of electrical that someone needs, from new construction to remodels to simple repairs, that type of thing. Is that correct?
You bet. Yep. We can do anything. A big thing now we're doing in commercial businesses is the old T12 troughers. Is you go in and replace the ballast and go with the T08 lamps. They're a little bit smaller lamp, but they're a little more efficient and put out a better light.
And that's mostly for commercial application,
Yeah.
though. That's commercial. Okay. Are you still seeing, are a lot of people still doing some remodeling and stuff? Are you still getting into a lot of remodel type situations?
Oh, yeah, there's still quite a bit of the remodel going on. A lot of people, they're staying in their homes right now with the way the financial, the economy right now. They're staying in their homes and doing a little bit at a time to their house, fixing up a room at a time. We're doing a lot of lighting improvements, ceiling fan additions, and a lot of, we've seen a lot of kitchen remodels here lately.
Really?
Where people have been putting in new cabinetry in the kitchen and redoing things a little bit. And when you get into any type of remodel like that, especially in the kitchen, you're moving where the microwave is or where the oven is, and and we come in there and we'll reroute the electric to the appliances, move the electric outlet for the oven over to the other wall of the kitchen or whatever.
About how often, like we had to update our electrical panel because we did some additions and some remodeling and stuff like that. How often should someone update their panel, or can they, if they're doing an addition or something that, say, if they've maxed out their electrical panel they have now, should they upgrade that one, or should they just add an additional panel? What's the best way for someone to do something like that?
Well, that gets into figuring the actual load on the service. You could have a 100 amp panel in your house, and it may be an older panel that has 12 breakers in it, or it could be a 20 circuit panel, and they may have all the circuits taken up, but the actual load on the house could still be pretty low. So you'd actually need to have an electrician come in and turn everything on and actually take a load, measure the amperage that the house is using, and that would tell them if they needed to upgrade to a larger amperage panel, going from 100 amp to 150. A lot of times, if the load is well below an 80%, and they've just got a lot of breakers that just go to single-use items that don't get used very often, then we look at putting a sub-panel in at that point. So it's based off what the actual usage of the house.
I see. Because I know that sometimes we've done sub panels and sometimes we've done complete new panels, and I never really knew why we did that.
Yeah, it's based on what kind of load the house has.
I see.
If you, if you're not using most of the 100 amp service, then there's really no reason to go to a 200 just to get more breakers.
I see.
As long as you're not overloading the service, then you're okay with going with a sub panel.
Okay, I see. And do we have a caller, Dan? Is it Deidre? Deidre, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
I have a question about our refrigerator, which works fine during the summer and when the weather's warm, but in the winter when the weather gets cold, it stops working for a week or two at a time. And the colder the weather it is, the more frequently it stops working.
Is your refrigerator inside your home, or is it in the garage?
Yes, it's inside.
Wow. What do you think, guys?
I really I couldn't tell you why that was happening. The only thing I could think would be a blockage of the airflow. Is there room around the refrigerator? Is it kept open where there's good airflow to the bottom of the refrigerator and on the back side?
I think so. It's got walls around it, but a few inches between the wall and the refrigerator.
Okay. I'm not real sure why it would quit working during the colder part of the year. That would be something we'd probably have to bring in an appliance repair to find out what's going on with that.
Okay.
Or a refrigeration company, one or the other.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry.
Thanks for the call. Sorry we didn't know the answer to that. I don't know why it would stop and start like that, but I figured they just ran or they didn't. When ours stops, we just get a new one. So I don't know. That's my answer. If it quits working, get a new one.
Well, refrigerator, I mean, it's pretty similar to your air conditioning system.
Yeah.
It's got to have proper airflow all the time.
It does.
That's why I was wondering, during the winter time, I mean, you obviously have a little cooler air, but with it being inside the house, it would be.
That's why I asked, because, we have refrigerators in the garage as well, and a lot of people do. Yeah. So I thought maybe if it was in the garage, it might have an effect on it.
She's like my mother-in-law, and she keeps the temperature about 85 in the house. Maybe that's what it's causing it.
I don't know. That's pretty warm. Something I wanted to bring up today to let our listeners know is that Spring Mountain Air, for the past 4 years, has done a free furnace giveaway. And we have actually had some callers. We've done different things to do give away furnaces, but we've actually had a few people call and ask us if we were going to do our oldest hottie contest again. I don't know if you remember that or not, Dan, but we did that a couple years ago, I think. And so the answer to that question is yes, we are. And our oldest hottie contest, and that means if you have an old hottie in your house and you want a new one, you can give us a call at Spring Mountain Air. And the way this works is it's going to start on Monday, which is the 17th of September. And it's going to end October 31st. You have about 6 weeks there to enter. And if you have an old natural gas furnace installed in your home and you want a chance to win a new one, you can call Spring Mountain Air. And our number, once again, is 417-831-4036. And we'll send a technician to your home. We're going to collect the information off the data plate. We put you in a spreadsheet so that we can keep track of everybody and who has which furnace. And then at the end of the contest, the person with the oldest furnace wins. It's very simple. Now, in the event that we have a tie or we have 2 or 3 people with the same age furnace, then we'll put those people in a drawing and we'll draw a winner out. And we're going to announce the winner of that on November 2nd, right here on the Home Repairs and Solutions Show. That Friday, we'll announce the winner. And we do have some questions that always comes up when we do these contests, and they want to know, so if we win the furnace, are you just going to set it in the garage and say, here you go, or what? No, we do not do that. We actually come out and completely install it, make sure it's operational for you, and that is at no charge to the winner. This has been a really fun thing for our company to do. The first year, a single mom with 3 small children won the furnace. She had an old furnace, and it quit working, and she couldn't afford to fix it or replace it, and she was actually trying to heat her home with all these plug-in heaters. And we know how well that works.
That's a nightmare.
It's not a good idea. It costs a lot of money, and then you end up with, maybe fire issues and that type of thing. So, she won the first one, and then we've had other people win. The oldest one that we did in our last oldest hottie contest, I believe, was the furnace was about 60 years old. So what that tells you is it does not need to be working. So they were using, at the time, a fireplace and some other things to try and heat their home with. So they actually won the last oldest hottie contest. So it's a fun contest. It's interesting to see there are some really old furnaces out there. Some of the qualifications to win this is you have to own or occupy your single-family home. So, if you have rent houses or something like that, we're not going to give someone that has rent houses a furnace. We want it to be the person who lives in the home that can get the benefit. And it has to be single family, so multifamily homes are not included. And we don't include mobile homes either. That's a whole different scenario that we don't they don't qualify either. So if you own a single family home and you have a natural gas furnace that's old, if you're in our service area and you would like the chance to try and win one, give us a call on Monday, and that's when it starts, and maybe you will get a brand new furnace. Most people that have older furnaces, they are not really efficient anymore, and so when we put one in, it's going to save them a lot of money on their utility bill. These newer furnaces work a lot better. They keep the temperature in your home a lot more even. It keeps you warmer in the winter. So we're looking forward to some lucky person having a nice warm winter from Spring Mountain Air again this year. So there you go. Speaking of, and I thought this would be a great day to bring it up because we're starting the contest on Monday, and it's chilly today, and we have had some furnace calls. So, it's getting to be that time of year.
Yeah, I bet they're starting to fire them up.
So we only have 1 minute left. So I want to thank you guys again for being with us on the show. You had some great information. You always do. So hopefully our listeners...
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And I think our listeners got some great information. I want to thank my brother for calling and catching me off guard. He's always good at doing things like that to me. So that was fun, and I'm glad he's listening to the show. And I hope that everyone has a great weekend. And stay warm.
Thanks.
We'll be back next Friday right here on Home Repairs and Solutions. And Mark should be back on the show. So stay tuned next Friday here on KWTO 560 AM.
Home Repairs and Solutions. Home